Hey everybody, I hope everybody's doing good. I have a good video for you. Something that I had to learn. I'm gonna dive right in, okay? Uh, when I uh, when I was in the world, when I say that when I was in the world, what you have to understand is that when you're born again, you're born into a new person, a new creation, is how the Bible puts it, and you're seated in heavenly places. So it's like you're in the same shell, but there was a transformation that happened on the inside that words and explanations don't really bring it home to the person that's listening. It's like they still don't understand. So you have to experience it in order to understand. It's like if you went on a roller coaster, you could tell me, man, I went all the way up and I felt the loop and this and that, but I don't understand what you felt, right? You can explain it till you're blue in the face, but I don't fully comprehend what you felt. Now, being born again is a big deal. So before I was born again, I was in the world, and when I was in the world, I had a different identity. I had the identity of the world, and so what that means is that I was trying to formulate. Please pay attention. I was trying to formulate an identity on the basis of the system of this world, and so many people have different identities in this world based on culture. So like my culture had to do with being cool, right? So being in the cool crowd, there's a certain way you dress, there's a certain way you talk with the slang and this and that, and and then you do certain actions to put to portray you as the exclamation mark that this is who you are. You're giving off the identity to the world, saying, "Listen, this is who I am." Right? There's different styles out there. Different people believe different things, and they're forming their own identity around the music that they listen to, the things that they watch on television, and the ideas behind everything on their outlook on life is how they're gonna portray themselves as their identity. So when I was in the world, my identity had to do with being cool and all that kind of stuff. Now, one of the things that we had to do, one of the things that we did when we were in the world and we didn't pay any attention to, which is what the video is all about, had to do with labels and titles that we would give ourselves and how we spoke to each other and how we spoke about life. Uh, Everything had a negative connotation to it, but we didn't, but it was natural and normal to us. Now, this may be you, but this is what the video is about so that you can stop it. And when I got born again, God, one of the first things He addressed with me was how that needed to stop right then and there. For example, I don't cuss. Right? Every now and a blue moon, a cuss word to come out of my mouth when I'm extremely angry, but then it's like not a habitual thing, and I repent, and it's not part of my daily um, walk and how I live my life, right? As a Christian, so um, a lot of these words, they're cuss words, right? But I can't pronunciate them to you because I don't want to say it. So I'm gonna spell it Shit. That word was pronounced as everything, right? So that actually had a positive meaning to it when you wanted to call something. Man, that's the and you're like your meaning that was awesome, right? That's the right? Or no, I don't smoke that shit. No, I don't do that shit. No, don't give me that shit. Everything was that, right? But what people don't tell you or teach you, right, is that your words matter, and you're building up and creating your world all around you through your words on a daily basis. So how you label yourself, I'm stupid, man. I can never get this. I can never do this. I will never be this. I can never do that. I can never do all these things. You're cursing yourself. Words matter. The Bible says that out of the abundance of the mouth, the heart speaks. So whatever's coming, flowing from your mouth, and you hear yourself speaking, your heart is full of those words. That's the condition of your heart. In other words, now I wanted to start with words, but I'm moving somewhere deeper than just words. But we have to start there in the basics. So, for example, when I got born again, my brother my brother, like it's usually the people that are relatives or close friends that feel like they have rights to you. They have rights to speak to you any which way, and often it's offensive how they speak. But we put a spin on it, and we just call it normal or this or that, like calling you names and stuff like that. It's just it's almost culture. It's like normal kind of stuff. So my brother back in the day, um, if they called you stupid or you're retarded or like any and all names in the book, right? Like you name it. Like come on, guys. We all know what we're talking about here. Like people use titles and labels on people daily, and it's not that they're trying to curse them, and it's not that they're coming at them to try to like put them down. Sometimes they are, but sometimes it's just a matter of speaking, right? And as friends, me and my friends, we used to do that. Yeah, mainly uh, with a word, Pussy, right? And we used to say, ah, you're a Pussy, come on, stand up, you could do it, come on, and everything, like everything was labels and types, and you're sticking it to them and this and that. That has an effect. It has an effect on their soul, on their mentality, on everything like that. And they're just so riddled with so much of the negative labels and this and that that they don't feel like it affects them one single little bit because they're okay. As an example, if you're dirty already, if you're in a dumpster and this and that, and you get something like mud on you and this or that, you'll be like, yeah, no big deal, right? Because you're already dirty, so you won't care. So you don't think that you're any dirtier than you were before, right? Well, and likewise, when you're living in that infestation of that corruption, of that pollution, of that contamination, of that world system, you know, there's so much going on that you think it's normal because you purchased and you bought into the idea that this is the way that life is. This is normal to me, right? And there's a masquerade of it being even funny or comedy or fun or entertaining to talk that way, to be that way. Now, I remember being in that realm, so every time we called each other that, we had a smile on our face. There's a fun spin to it, a pleasurable spin to it, right? Right? But then also we would call those same titles, those same words to our enemy. If we were about to fight, those same words we would apply to them. And now it's no longer a smile on your face. Now you mean it. You're about to fight. But you're using the same verbiage, right? And that's what I wanted to address because in the Bible, which is our authority to tell us right from wrong, to tell us what happens when you do what, that's what the Bible is all about. Well, the Bible talks about these things form life, or it forms death. It forms blessings or it forms curses, right? So it's creating stuff, right? And it's really awfully hard. Like, okay, as an example, okay, forget presidency and politics and all that. Let's just use Donald Trump as an example, right? Because he's a billionaire and he's successful, right? Now, do you think that a successful person, even if Donald Trump is a bad example, use anybody that's successful, Elon Musk or whatever, do you think that they go on and they let people talk to them any which way like that, like using verbiage like that? They do not. But there's a good reason for it. Because the higher you go, and there's ranks and levels to this whole thing, there's steps and levels to this whole thing. There's the muck, the pit, the mire that the Bible talks about. Then there is above ground kind of stuff, average kind of stuff, like mediocre kind of stuff. Then there's flying high kind of stuff. And each thing has a representation to it. Has a demeanor, has a way of talking, walking, dressing, smelling, looking, feeling, thinking. Okay, and that determines on what scale of where you were at. That's why you attract that of which wherever level you're at. If you don't know where you match up and what level, look at your friends, look at your peers, look at those people, and look at their actions. Because a lot of the time we're blind to ourselves, right? In our eyes, we're always polished. We're always looking nice and neat, and nothing's wrong with me. Everything's wrong with you, but nothing's wrong with me. And so If you have a hard time figuring out where you're at, look at your peers, the people you hang around with consistently, and look at their verbiage, look at their mentality, look at how they dress, look at how what their education level is. Look at, and that will show you, because people that are billionaires don't usually chill and they don't relate to people that are in poverty, because they think different, act different, see life different, behave different, all that kind of stuff, right? And so you're always going to be in a place of relating to somebody. That's why you hang around with them, right? There is compatibility there. There's things that you have in common there. That's why you could measure yourself by them. And there's a saying that I use often, and it's very true. It's, you can't hang around with the crows and expect to fly like the eagles, right? It's something that catches your attention. It says, you know, sometimes you have to ditch the stuff that has an anchor around your, because what it does is it gives you very little reward, but a lifetime of pain and sorrow. It takes all your potential, it takes all your future, and it gives you a little bit of pleasure of popping a Xanax or smoking a blunt, and that's your little pleasure there. But in the bigger picture is your whole life comes down to this small little measure of pleasure. And when you put your whole life on the line, you're giving up a bunch of stuff like family, memories, like real meaningful, purposeful, destiny type stuff that you can't match it up with a small little high, right? And so then let's discuss that. Like today, this may lose some of you in terms of what I'm about to say, because it's hard to conceive what I'm about to say for some of you. So others of you are going to understand. But when I got to the gym today, I got on the treadmill and started to walk. Now my treadmill, the TV on it was staticky, meaning that the channel wasn't working. I don't care about the TV, but it's just what was happening with my treadmill. When I got on it, the TV wasn't working. It was on already, and it was just staticky. So I flipped the channel, and again, not because I wanted to watch something, but just because I don't want to watch this staticky thing. Because what the staticky thing symbolizes to me is that there's no reception here, and there's no functioning here. Like it's a broken system. Like this thing ain't working properly. I'm on it. This thing is not working properly. I'm on it. And whatever I connect myself to, it doesn't matter if it's a machine, it doesn't matter what it is, I want it to work properly because I will work properly. That's why you won't see rich people and this and that. If something stops functioning as good, they don't want it anymore. For other people, it's good enough. For other people, it's like, no, we can still use it. But it goes deeper than that for some people. The revelation behind it is what I'm talking to you about. And again, I get that some people are not going to understand what I'm talking about. But this comes with climbing the ladder of life. And I learned this with my growth and development. Because there was a point in time where I was all the way down there beyond the pit, right? Very low self-esteem, very low confidence, very low self-image of myself. Didn't have anything going for me. All my friends were knuckleheads. Didn't have nothing going for them. Okay, so I come from that place. But as I started to gain identity in Jesus Christ, and he started to tell me and give me value, started to tell me who I was, started depositing into me truth, then all the lies and all the labels and all the titles, I didn't want them anymore. Because guess what was happening to me? The veil was coming off my eyes, and I started to see that these are insults. And why am I going to let you insult me? I don't want you to insult me, right? Especially not in a form of entertainment. Right? Like you're gonna smile and call me a bad name. I went through a lot of this with a lot of people, okay, both at work, both at home, because it's a normal thing to talk in that derogatory manner. So as I grew and God gave me identity, He said, "Don't wear those labels anymore. Don't wear those titles, because that, like, self-image has, it will defend itself according to its value. So your value inside of yourself will stand up for yourself when you hear something that's trying to smear you with mud, and you're like, well, I'm clean. I don't want to be smeared with mud. So take that back. I don't want that, right? But if you're already dirty, you don't care. That's the thing there, right? So God, like I said, you know, being born again was a revolutionary experience for me. Brought me to a place of a new life, right? And so then I had to retrain this up here. The Bible says renew your mind, right? So I'm starting to read the Bible, starting to understand some things I didn't understand before of how to conduct myself in life. And then the revelation came to me that all God really wanted me to do was be good. And I remember when it dawned on me, something as simple as that it was revolutionary for me. It was like, wait, it was a real eye-opening experience for me. The devil got really mad at me, really mad at the fact that I had this very basic understanding of what God wanted. He said, "You mean to tell me that all God wants from me is for me to be good? And that's it? Like, He just wants me to be good?" And I recall the enemy standing up, me, like, he's getting it. He's just starting to understand. I said, I could be good. It's not that hard to be good. Man, I could be good. Man, just be good. That's it. Like, just do good things. I could do that. I could do bad things, but I could let go of the bad things. I could do good things. Yeah, it's not a big deal. I could do that. That's all God wants. And then I'll be good with Him. And I'll go to heaven. And, like, everything will be good with me. I could do that. And when I really understood it, I was just like, all right, I'm going to trade in the bad for the good. That's it. I'm a good person now. I used to be bad, but now I'm going to be good. I graduated from being bad. Now I'm going to be good. And so when I took on that ownership of being good, I dressed in white, so to speak. Like, I used to dress in darkness. I'm not talking physically. I'm talking spiritually. I was dressed in white. Like, I'm like, you know what? I'm a good guy now. So everywhere I go, I'm going to look for opportunities to do good deeds. It doesn't matter if I'm at the gas station or if I'm at the bakery. I'm going to look for something that I could do that is good. Because that's what this whole life is about, just being good. So that's it. So I started doing that, and then what happened to me is that my identity started to change, my thought process started to change, and I started to be elevated from being in the pit, in the mire, in the mud, so to speak, and being kind of promoted. Not just promoted in the spirit, but promoted in the physical. Like, I started going from leeching at home with mom to getting a job, to now sustaining myself, to now going to efficiency, getting married, having kids, moving from the efficiency to apartment. I started to see increase in me, in my character, and my insight of how I thought, how I felt in my heart, how I carried myself. I didn't drop my pants no more. I wasn't looking at people hard. That used to be a daily thing for me. Everywhere I went, I found problems. But I was the problem. I used to say, man, I can't go nowhere without catching beef. Well, I was looking at everybody like I wanted to kill them. Well, duh, you're going to freaking catch somebody asking you, what's up then? Right? You're looking at them like with this death eye. Right? That was me, right? So, I'm like, well, God just wants me to be good. Okay, I'm not going to look at people like that no more. That's it, no more. And this and that. Behind the scenes, it was all demonic anyways. Demons were doing all that, feeling all that, right? The Bible calls it haughty eyes. It's in the Bible. God hates haughty eyes. And haughty eyes is exactly what I had. I looked at everybody like hard rocking them, right? Because I attributed that to being hard. I attributed that to being a man. And that's why kept it fueling and going as a machine that was lubricated to keep on going. Is that I felt like it was a good thing. That's how the devil gets you to feel. That's how the devil gets it to keep on going, is because you think behind everything else, every action, he puts a positive spin on it. The positive spin for me was, I'm doing it to be a man, and this is what consists with being a man. You gotta be tough, you gotta be serious, you gotta be, up for to being violent, and that's what it is. Then the being a man thing was a positive thing, but that was the reason why I was doing all that stuff, right? So for me, God had to redefine what a man was, and I had to learn what being a man was. You know, how to be responsible, how to carry yourself, how to conduct yourself, how to have self-control and discipline, how to give identity and have identity, how to, you know, like all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It wasn't so much about image, but it was about the stuff that you carry on the inside, integrity, you know, principles, ethics, all the stuff that matters that people don't see. That's what a man is, and he's not a man when people are watching. He's a man when people are not watching. And so when people are watching, they applaud him. But hey, I was this when you weren't watching, and so that's what it all ties into that. So like the labels and the titles that people try to throw on you, you know, again, it was I was now becoming clean, and when my brother or friends would try to call me these things that they've always called me, I now resisted it. And I said, nah, don't call me that no more. And it threw them off. They were like, what you talking about? I was like, don't call me that no more. I'm not a bitch. I'm not a pussy. Don't talk to me any which way. Even if it's joking around, even if it's just because it was always joking around. Feel me? Like it was always like entertainment, right? But again, in the spiritual realm, it's just like it's receiving, and it's like you're becoming, like your environment, like everything is like you're creating stuff, bro, and it's all demonic. And so that word shit, how we described everything was shit. And I learned one day, it dawned on me that I'm like, you know what? If this is true, if the spiritual realm is like you're creating stuff, then I'm surrounded by that. If that's true, like if your words matter, and you're little mini me creators, and you're creating, if you're calling everything shit, and what's up, dog, and like, then start to take your brain and your mind there, like, then you're calling yourself an animal, you're surrounded by shit, you're labeled all these other and really you're using all this terminology that it's going against you. So like once I started catching the revelation, I was like, you know what? Ain't nobody gonna talk to me any which way no more. Like you're gonna put some respect on it now. And so like when I started standing up for myself, it took some people a while to really understand where I was coming from. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm holding myself to a higher standard now, and I have no problem cutting you off. I have no problem moving on without you. So you're either gonna come at me correct, or we ain't gonna have this no more. I don't care if you're family. I don't care if you're who you are. You ain't gonna talk to me that way no more. And that's the end of that. And I put my foot down, and that was in the beginning of my faith. That was like 10 years ago. And like I said, in the beginning it was a fumbling thing, like where people were like, in the beginning people had no idea what was going on with me, really. They had no idea. But hey, I had flipped the page, right? And that's it. Now, as I started to call things what they really were and start changing my dialogue and you know, I started to prosper. I started to move up in life, bro. So going back to the gym, when I got on this gym thing, because this is the other side to this because it goes deeper, man. It goes further than just words and titles and labels. When you start to see things, that everything is prophetic in the spiritual realm, like prophetic. That's all. That's a symbol for what you want to happen, or that's a symbol for what is happening in your life. And when I got on this treadmill, and I saw that this staticky TV was on, I had a problem with that, because nothing in my life, I don't want anything in my life to represent this staticky TV. I want everything to be crystal clear. I want everything to be a visual that you can see and have no problem seeing it. Right? I don't want it to be like that or this or that. Right? I want it to be the picture to be clear. So I changed the channel. and the other channel was the same way, and then the other channel, and I turned off the TV. And again, if you would have been standing right next to me, in terms of being on another treadmill and watching me, you would have thought I was looking for a channel. I couldn't find a channel. I turned off the TV. In the natural, that's what was going on. In the supernatural, which is where I live, which is where I reside in the spirit. I live in the spirit. And so everything for me is spiritual. Okay? So for you, it's a television that's not working. For me, it's symbolic for my life, looking like it's trying to connect myself to this thing that for me it's like, well, I want nothing to do with that. So I shut it off. I start exercising, because everything that I connect myself to, it's gotta work properly, right? Because it's an extension of me at that point. When I'm on it, when I'm using it, it's an extension of me, and I'm an extension of it, simply because I'm connected to it at that specific point in time. And so I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's a poor way of explaining that in the spiritual realm everything is significant. In the spiritual realm, everything is significant. Everything means something. God uses parables. God uses visions and dreams and pictures and illustrations and books and meanings. Everything means something. In the spiritual realm, everything means something. So that meant to me, this thing is not communicating correctly, and I want to be a good communicator. I don't want to be connected to this. I don't want to look like that in real life. I don't want to be like staticky and this and that. Shut that thing off. I don't want none of that in my life, right? And had I left it on, would I be staticky and this and that? That's not the point. The point is that for me, I'm directing myself and my life in the way of light, clarity, fruitfulness. I know where I'm heading, and I don't want distractions like this to try to get my attention and say, there's something wrong, because evidently there was something wrong with that. It wasn't working properly, and so it's a distraction at this point. So I shut it off. I get it out of the way. But I'm using that as an illustration that anything that is like that in your life, if it's not working properly, if it's destructive, it's not get it up out of your life, man. Get it up out of your way, because it's an extension. It's not fruitful. If it's not fruitful, why let it be connected to you? So period. So that's how I feel about it. And my life has prospered and gone up and up and up and up and up and up, all because whatever you focus on, whatever you give your energy and your time to, that's going to increase or decrease you. And my focus and my concentration is on the kingdom of God. My focus and concentration is on the image of God, the presence of God, the spirit of God, the supernatural, the miracle signs and wonders, the works of God. And so if that's where my attention at, why do I want something that doesn't work? Why do I want something that is going to be staticky? That annoys me. But it doesn't annoy me for the same reasons that it annoys you. It annoys other people because it's like, well, I want to watch TV. It annoys me because I feel like I want to use the words a weapon formed against me, but it's not to that extent. But it is to the extent that I don't want it to get into. I don't even want to dwell in this area, because I don't want you to think that this is about the TV. Right? This is an illustration, an example of how to carry yourself in terms of, don't allow people to talk down on you. Don't allow people to put labels on you. Don't let yourself do that to yourself, because a lot of people curse themselves, and you have to renounce to all those curses, and you have to forgive yourself for everything that you've fallen short on. You have to just channel all that stuff out of you, man. And now speak life, speak life, speak life, speak blessings, speak beautiful things over your life. Okay? And that's how you renew your mind. And that's how you walk on a different road towards success. Right? And if you fall short, you're not a failure. you just learn some stuff, right? The devil's language is you fall short, you're not good enough. God's language is, hey, don't do that again. You learn something, right? So there you go. So we touched on the labels and the titles. Stay far away from that stuff, because what you speak is what you're gonna get back. And then, like a boomerang, it's coming back. So then, the prophetic, we touched on it lightly. I don't connect myself to things that down the road it can lead to something like the real thing, or something that's potential. So if it's broken, if it's busted, if it's something that the devil could use, if it's demonic in nature and all that, you don't connect yourself to that, because it's not entertainment as the Bible wants, as the devil wants you to believe. The devil disguises things as entertainment, fun, laughter. You can't take a joke, this and that. The fact here is that it has real leverage behind it to influence that person and that person's uh, experience in life. And it dwells in that person. They carry it to their next experience. It's a seed sown into them, and they carry that seed to the next stage of their life. And it operates as an insecurity, as a fear, as a doubt, as a this, as a that. And it all started when you got connected to the wrong source. Cut out the wrong sources, connect yourself to purity and holiness and good stuff, and then you're going to reign like a champion, period. And I feel like I have to make a part two in terms of the prophetic, because there's more things to talk about in terms of the prophetic, you know. For example, like, I went to the beach one time. This is prophetically, right? I went to the beach one time. I see a little kid, 5, 6 years old, and he has this toy gun. I think it's a water gun. I don't know what it was, but it's a toy gun. And he's in the beach, and he's pointing at all the people in the water. And just like the movies, he's mimicking shooting them all. Boom, 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 boom. I'm watching this. Some people are laughing. Ah, how cute. Okay, he's pretending. He's shooting people. Okay, in the prophetic, in the spiritual realm, this is how you translate that. If you want to learn, this is how you translate that. The seed, or the prophetic thing there, is that the kid has potential to be a mass shooter in the day of tomorrow, in terms of one of those school shooters or this or that. And that's what it means in the spiritual realm, because one thing is linked to the real reality of the manifestation of what that's gonna look like with a real gun and with real people in a real situation. And so, likewise, like you see like little kids presenting a rose, and they're playing house or something like that, I don't know, and they're playing around, and one man is giving a rose to another woman, and they're playing with dolls or something like that, let's just say, like that, prophetically speaking, right? They're gonna live like in the spiritual realm, you know. Their imagination is leading them, and prophetically they're being led into a life of romance, a life of love, a life of communion and fellowship, and all that stuff that comes with it, because that's where they're sowing into in the spiritual realm, right? I'm speaking about the spiritual realm and how it has way more significance than just committing a dull action, how people try to minimalize it. It's just a toy gun, it's just this, it's just that. You hear that everywhere. It's just, they're just playing, they're just, but it leads, there's change. You see those people 20 years later, 15 years later, you hear stories, man, you know, and they become that of which they first originated as a game with. For example, I'm gonna use this and then I'm gonna go. My brother, he's older than me. He sniffed country. What was it? The title is Country Walk or something like that, but it's lemonade, right? It's the powdered lemonade. When we were about 11 years old, something like that, uh, weren't quite teenagers. My brother took me to the kitchen, and he put down a line of um, of lemonade, and he sniffed it with a straw. I looked at this guy and like, you're dumb, bro. Like he's like his brain is hurting, his eyes are watering. He's like, ah, yeah. I'm like, freaking guy, like, what are you doing? And so I walk away and I'm just like shaking my head, like, yeah, I'm not gonna be doing that. And then guess what? Like my brother, just a few years later, starts to sniff the real thing. It acted, the prophetic brought about the real powder, and I joined them. So there you have it. The prophetic was me watching my brother do blow, coke or whatever you want to call it, yay, and I watched him, and then in reality, a few years later, I was watching him do it, and then I began to do it because we all want to be like our bigger brothers and whatever. So then that's it. Like that's what I mean to say with like the whole prophetic thing, you know. It sows the seed, right, to do the real thing. God bless you. I hope this video helps you.